Hey guys, welcome to the Herndon Robotics interest meeting video.
All right, so if we can keep the chat calmer for the next couple of minutes. My name is Brady Gollum. I am the president of Herndon Robotics. I've been doing this for 4 years now. So I started my freshman year, back when a lot of things were different, not only COVID-wise, but organization-wise. And this has been an interesting year for us. Behind the scenes, we've been doing a lot of work to make sure we can facilitate a COVID-friendly season that's keeping everyone safe, and as well as teaching everyone engineering, because Herndon doesn't really offer those classes besides going through academy, which is a difficult route for many. So we really want to make sure we were still able to give this opportunity to everyone. I'm going to say this in the beginning, and I'll probably repeat it at the end. But if you have friends that weren't able to get the message that we're doing this still, or missed this interest meeting, we'll post an email later. They can email to reach out to us and try to get information on how to still join after this later through the presentation. So just because you missed this, or just because your friend missed this, does not mean they can't join. So this is welcome to our virtual interest meeting. This is how we're doing it. Now, usually we do hold this in the drama room, which is where we have the robotics shop, and we usually give you pizza. And we actually did spend time trying to figure out a way to give you pizza, because we've been giving kids pizza for 25 years, but we were not able to find a way to give you pizza still. So I'm sorry about that. But my name is Brady Gollum, as I've already said. I'm the president, so I'm run this whole organization. We have Jess Wu, who has his camera enabled. He is our chief of staff, handling a lot of the administrative work. We have Ivonne Rojas, who's our outreach officer. We have Mason Terrell, who's our FTC build captain. Alika Guyan, who's our FRC build captain. And Dave Lavery, who is our head mentor for the organization. Next slide. So the basics of robotics is we have 2 teams, and each year, each team gets a different challenge, because they're 2 different levels of robotics. So we look at that challenge, we analyze it, and decide how we want to design a robot, how we want to play the game, and what type of points and sub challenges we want to accomplish. From there, we design and build the robots throughout multiple different time periods, depending on the robot we're working on. From there, we move on to community outreach. One of the big things we like to focus on through FIRST, which is the parent organization to all this robotic stuff, is community outreach, so helping your community, and specifically for us, helping local elementary schools, middle schools, and libraries to teach STEM engineering without any financial issues, because we are fortunate enough to have the money to facilitate stuff, while many in our area do not have the money to learn these things. So we provide all the financial support and parts and equipment to teach kids about robotics wherever we are. And finally, at the end of the year, it's usually after January, we get into the heavy competition season, where we'll spend weekends at robotics competitions, competing with teams from all over the area, state, and hopefully, if we're good enough, a world, where we'll actually go to Houston. You can go. So FIRST Robotics is the parent organization. They actually run 4 different levels of robotics competitions, starting with FIRST Lego League Junior, which is like pre-K and lower elementary school. Then they run FIRST Lego League, which is elementary school, FIRST Tech Challenge, which is middle school and high school, and FIRST Robotics Challenge, which is just high school. Our organization competes within FIRST Tech Challenge and FIRST Robotics Challenge. And that really allows us to give kids a wide range of robotics experience, as well as it facilitates easier learning and easier onboarding process when they join the team, as jumping right into FRC, right into FIRST Robotics Challenge, can be quite difficult for many. So FIRST itself stands for Inspiration and Recognition in Science Technology. It's actually been around for over 25 years. It started with a professor at MIT, I believe, who had this cool idea. Every year in class, he'd hold like a mini robotics competition, and it's since evolved to this big grand and national thing, taking over, literally, it's in, I think, every country. It's in Israel, it's in Australia, you name it, it's there. So it is an international thing. Then they also provide millions and millions of dollars to scholarships every year. Next slide.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mason Terrell. For those of you that did not catch it in the first slide, I am your FIRST Tech Challenge, or FTC Robotics captain. And this year we're really focusing on FTC because it's easier to coordinate between COVID and other things. So in the FIRST Tech Challenge, we have smaller robots that fit within an 18 by 18 by 18 inch cube, and they also weigh under 42 pounds. So the FTC Challenge is also the longer season of the 2, and it's basically longer because we got to teach you more of the basics before you can move into one of the more advanced seasons. And one of the reasons there are more pre-made parts in this season is, again, because we have to teach you the basics before you can get into the complicated making special parts for robots and other stuff like that. So we also have smaller fields in FTC that are 12 by 12, and smaller teams are limited to 15, I believe. And of course, there's less specialization because, again, we're teaching you the basics about everything that has to do with robotics.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alec. I'm your FRC captain, and I'm basically just going to talk about FRC here. So with FRC, the difference between it and FTC is mostly the robot and field size. The robot is, instead of being limited by 42 pounds, limited by 125 pounds. So that's a ton more weight, and you need a way bigger field for a way bigger robot. So the fields are 5-6 times bigger. The teams are also far, far bigger. There are some teams that have over 100 members. The competitions, instead of FTC, in FRC, they last 2 days. All of our parts, or almost all of our parts, are custom fabricated in our shop. The season is shorter. It starts in January instead of November or September. And there's a lot more specialization. So you don't just participate in build, you participate in BAMF or manipulator or all these other subcategories of build. So this year, robotics is going to work a little bit differently than normal. Everyone is going to be involved in FTC. Robotics kits are going to be distributed to each member. We're going to try to follow all these CDC regulations and what the county wants us to do, and we're going to try to keep everyone as safe as possible. We're going to hold virtual meetings, and students will work with a returning member that'll act as kind of your guide or your trainer that can help you do new things that you don't know how to do yet. Students will be able to choose what they want to focus on in robotics. So we have a ton of subcategories like code, build, documentation. There's a ton of cool stuff for you to do. And if build isn't really your thing, you can do code or documentation. So FRC during COVID-19 is going to work a little bit differently than normal. Moving big 125-pound robots around between people's houses is a giant hassle. So we are basically just going to select a few students to participate in FRC. The game challenge from last year is going to be continued. So we already have a robot from last year. We're pretty much just going to add on more stuff to it to make it better, make it run smoother. And the full season plan is yet to be decided, but that'll be coming up shortly. So this year's games, as I've already said, the FRC game is Infinite Recharge. It's the same as last year. Basically, the goal is to shoot balls into little goals, or big goals, sorry, and hang on a bar at the end. The FTC game is a little bit different. It's smaller robots, but there's rings, and you have to shoot rings into goals. So there's a ton of things that you can do in robotics. You can participate in a ton of subcategories like build, software design, finances, media, outreach, ton more stuff. So if one of these categories doesn't suit you, there's a lot more that you can choose from and still be a very good and useful part of the team.
Hi everyone, I'm Ivonne. I will be your outreach officer this year. Outreach focuses on spreading the word of robotics and STEM to our students. Our goal is to inspire our community to pursue the love for engineering. And our way to spread the word is by hosting events at the Herndon Library, Herndon Elementary School, the Herndon Festival, and Aaron's Care. This year, sadly, due to COVID, our events will be held virtually, and that's how we're going to keep our members safe.
Hi, I'm Jess Wu. I am this year's Chief of Staff / the Admin Captain. Because we are a school-based team, obviously, to Herndon, we have to follow all of the rules and regulations that are set by Fairfax County Public Schools, which also includes being safe during the COVID-19 period. And I know Alec already mentioned a little bit about how we plan to do this. On top of that, we also have to follow different tool safety regulations in relation to like power tools and whatnot. And also, for our club, we don't have any financial requirements. You guys do not have to pay anything to be on this team. We will give you all of the parts that you might require.
Hey, Alec, you're muted, bud.
Oh no. Okay. They would help in normal times. Competitions would help you practice for. They'd help you practice for real life applications. So you'd learn how to communicate as a team under stress. You'd learn how to build really quickly. A ton of field skills. You'd learn how to represent your team. FRC competitions, as I said, are a day longer than FTC competitions. And for FRC, our districts are in Newport, and our worlds are in Houston. FTC, okay. So the time commitment is more for like a sports team than a school club. Our meetings are Tuesday and Thursday, 7 to 9, and occasional weekend events may occur. Attendance will be recorded, so if you don't show up for a certain number of meetings, there may be some consequences.
That's me. I forgot about that. With FIRST, we have a lot of different opportunities and scholarships that you can get. With FIRST, there are about 200 different scholarship providers and about $80 million worth in available scholarships. In terms of opportunities, you also get a chance to work with real engineers. For instance, we mentioned before very briefly our head mentor, Dave Lavery. You also get to learn an extensive array of skills, build, wiring, software, all of that. You also get to form connections with people that can last you throughout your entire career. These can be super valuable. The aforementioned $80 million worth of scholarships, and it's always better to start on this kind of stuff early rather than later.
So why would you want to participate in robotics? You don't have to do your science fair for your junior or sophomore year. You learn a ton of communication skills. You learn how to participate in a different type of team. You can connect with countless people in the engineering industry, mentors, sponsors, a ton of people. And you can learn new engineering skills that you never knew about before.
Hi guys, I am William King. I've probably been on this team the second longest since, aside from Brady, because I've also been here since my freshman year. And in my personal opinion, the best part about the robotics is probably the competitions, which is, no surprise there. And, it's kind of like going to a sports game, except your team actually wins it more than never, So that's the fun part about joining the robotics team. Also at competitions, like they said earlier, you get to work on your engineering skills a bit more because you have the pit there, and if something breaks, then you get to develop your skills even more by helping fix it, and you get to watch all this work that you've put in over time pay off by how well you do and how much you succeed in the competition. Outside of that, though, working on the robot itself and actually working with the team is really fun, and it's learning all those skills is useful not just for building robots, it's also useful in real life with like going to college. First of all, any kind of engineering degree, this kind of stuff can go into that, but also just learning how to use the power tools and working in the shop that can help you at home if you ever have any kind of like DIY projects or whatever. You need to fix something in your house, then if it's something simple, these kind of skills can translate to that. You also make lots of new friends here, right? You hang out with these people all the time, working on stuff together, goof off, super fun. Personally, my favorite memory is probably This one part we had built for the robot, it was kind of a long shot, but it ended up working in the end, and it was super fun to watch actually work on the field. Some of the favorite memories would probably be when I was just screwing in a bolt, like you do, and the wrench just broke. And then, I don't know, it was just random, just out of the blue, boom, broken wrench. It's kind of funny. But yeah.
Vinayak didn't show up, so you can skip over this one.
I think he actually came down to the last minute thing, I guess. So here's a video we have displaying a couple different elements of the robotics organization. It shows about team spirit, as well as shows some actual gameplay video from our robots. No, go back to the video. Play the video.
The video doesn't play on the slide, Brady. You have to link it in the chat.
Oh my god. Here, I will link it. 1 second.
Meanwhile, while Alec is doing that, we have another video for you. It's basically the FTC game video for this year. So I'll go ahead and just link that in the chat. You can watch that while Alec is inputting the other video that we have for you. So that's the video. If you want to go watch it now, you can. If you want to watch it later, you can. But it's basically just a breakdown of the new FTC game for this year.
Okay, so before you guys leave this meeting, and at some point, I do want to give you a Google form that we want to have you guys fill out so that we can kind of get your contact information, see what your interests are, and kind of plan ahead for the rest of the year.
A couple more things to add. I'm also including one of the team emails. So if you have any questions about how we're running into COVID operations, or any individual questions that don't pertain to the whole group, you can feel free to email that, and we will get back to you. We're sorry about the technical difficulties. We're still trying to figure out this whole virtual thing ourselves. We make fun of teachers, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So yeah, but I would encourage you to go watch both of those videos. But before we leave, does anybody have any questions about the presentation or about anything at all? You feel free to unmute your mic, or you can type it in the chat, or.
Hi, my name is Abdullah Muhammad. I'm a junior, and I work on Thursdays, so I was wondering how that would affect me joining.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons we talked about that attendance thing is, in past years we've had a lot of kids who just don't come, and then they expect to not because they're working, they just don't come because I don't feel like it, and we know that. But if you have prior commitments, and we said this, if you're on a sports team, or you're busy with work or something like that, that's by all means excused. It's mainly for unexcused absences where you don't personally reach out to one of the mentors or one of the student leaders to explain that. So if you're working on Thursdays, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
We meet 7 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Conventionally, we meet 7 to 10 at the high school, and that may change throughout as the year progresses. But for the first month, we'll be meeting 7 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays digitally through that link. And one of the reasons we need you to fill out that form is that it will give us all of your contact information, and we'll be able to email you the official team link we'll use for not the interest meeting, but the other elements for the actual team meetings as well. So if you want to get that information and you want to get all that stuff, you can add your name to that email list. We'll have it all added by Wednesday night, hopefully, but that could take up until Thursday morning, and we'll send you out an email by, let's say, Thursday 6 p.m. If you don't receive an email by Thursday 6 p.m., you can email HHS FTC Team 519, and I'll personally send you the link to make sure you get it. Joseph, you can ask now.
Yeah, so by the end of this year, do you guys have an application to sign up for leadership positions?
Yeah, so this year is actually quite unconventional. Last year we struggled. We had not many people from the junior and senior classes. In fact, me and William are the only two individuals from the senior class this year. And oftentimes leadership positions take over the junior and senior class. Not to say they haven't taken over freshmen and sophomore. It's just usually those are the people with more experience. But at the end of the year, we usually hold elections. So we put forth a couple options or goals that everyone can apply for, what they're good at, what they enjoy doing, and then you basically prepare a speech in front of the team, and we hold elections and we vote on who gets what. And that's a great thing to put on your resume. A lot of colleges, especially like talking about Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, a lot of those engineering colleges, one, they know exactly what FIRST is, they know what FTC is and FRC is, so they understand how the rigorous and the knowledge you're gaining from doing programs like this, and they also understand the time commitment that's going to come from a leadership position. So when you put that down, you can expect that colleges will understand and appreciate that.
I've done SAT, not SAT, TSA in middle school. What's the similarities and differences?
So TSA is the event with Mr. Galton, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So TSA, that's very similar. Where you work after school. In our case, it's night times, but you work with a group of kids to design. They give you a game design video or however they do it there, and you work for a month about a game project. The only real difference between TSA and FTC and FRC is that while they have multiple projects throughout the year, we get one design and one game at the beginning of the year that we design throughout the year, and we keep on improving and improving and working on it. So rather than like a one-time event, it's more of a continuous thing throughout the entire year.
Okay.
So we will physically meet if the COVID guidelines loosen. Right now, FCPS has restricted all meetings until I believe it's late December, early January. But I suspect, and I believe, as I'm not alone with this, that will probably get pushed back, because if anyone has gone to Herndon High School, you know that very rarely are you not within 6 feet of someone. So I think Herndon High School will personally be a mess once we go back. So, but we want to meet. Trust me, we'd rather meet. We'd rather put you in the shop, teach you how to use a bandsaw, and teach you how to use a drill, and get you working on actual metal and stuff. Way more fun. But if not, as we've said, we're gonna provide all the parts and tools necessary that we are allowed to provide for you. I'm not sure we're allowed to provide for you a bandsaw just to chill in your own house, but we'll see. Peyton, I wish, but I'm FCPS canceled all extracurriculars till December and January, and I don't think they're going to go back on that decision. So we'll see. But I would like to as well. I don't like this virtual environment. It's just not as much fun.
Brady, do the returning members have to fill out that form? I don't think so, but
no, you're already on the email.
All right, yeah, figured.
Anything else? Alrighty, so we're just gonna I'm gonna call here. We're gonna post these two video links. If you don't already have them, I would write them down somewhere or put them in a notepad, put them in a Google Doc, because I don't think it'll give you access to them after, which is our bad. We probably should. We didn't see that as a foresight. But please fill out the form if you're interested. Tell your friends if they will not be able to come. Feel free to email that email with any questions you have, or any people that want to get added to the email list that didn't get the form or anything at all. You can feel free to email that email, and I will see it, or Jess, and we'll get back to you. We will be meeting next Thursday, 7 to 9. If you don't see an email from it, will say something nasa.gov is the email title. Probably say Team 116 or something like that. So just keep an eye out for that in inboxes. With the invite link, you can email me by 6. That email once again, and I will personally send you the invite link. Alrighty. Thank you, guys.
All right, with that said, I'm currently muted in the meeting. I'm just going to play the videos for you guys right here, right now, because I'll leave the links in the description, but you can watch them here. We're just gonna skip this ad in a minute.
Build custom industrial machines.
A team consists of up to 2 driver operators, a coach, a human player.
My apologies. So this is the game animation with no intro. It's just the pure game animation for FTC. Obviously, these are not all the rules, but this just gives you a general overview of what the rules are and what will be happening.
A team consists of up to 2 driver operators, a coach, a human player, and a robot. The robot must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing tool, but may expand after the match begins. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Each alliance is allowed only 1 human player. Your opponents for one match may be your partners for another. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot high walls. 5 unique navigation images are located around the field perimeter. At one end are 2 tower goals, each containing 3 alliance-specific goals with return racks. Between the 2
Have a good night, everybody.
are 3
See y'all
red
around.
and 3 blue.
William, oh my god.
I apologize for
There
that.
are
Okay.
2 red.
So it took Alec freaking 12 minutes to kick the last kid, Jesus. But so thank you guys for coming.
Do I record
I
this
want to
still?
talk to you guys afterly. For starters, you guys were all pretty good. And I'm not calling out Aiden here because I would have done the exact same thing my freshman year, sophomore year, whatever. I probably did the same thing realistically. But one thing, don't do in a presentation, just don't call people out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute this because let's get back to the video. I apologize for that.
And 2 blue taped start lines, and 3 red and 3 blue target zone goals. And a white launch line divides the field. Outside of the field walls are the 2 alliance stations and 2 human player stations. The primary game element is a ring, approximately 5 inches in diameter and 3/4 of an inch thick. A match is played with 20 rings. There are 2 red and 2 blue wobble goals. These can have rings scored onto them and can be moved for additional scoring. Before each match, teams place their robots on the field, touching the front wall and over one of their alliance's starting lines. Each robot must be touching or be in possession of a wobble goal. A robot may possess or touch up to 3 rings. After the robots are in position, field personnel will randomize the starter stacks into one of 3 configurations. This determines which target zone goal is active in the autonomous period. 0, 1, or 4 rings correspond to target zone goals A, B, or C, respectively. Unused rings are stored in the human player stations to be deployed to the field at the start of the driver-controlled period. The players and field are ready. Each match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. During this period, there are a number of ways for teams to score using only pre-programmed instructions and sensor inputs. Delivering a wobble goal to the correct target zone earns the alliance 15 points. A robot parked over the launch line earns 5 points. Each ring launched or placed into the low goal earns 3 points. A ring launched into the mid goal earns 6 points, and launching into the high goal earns 12 points. Robots earn 15 points for each power shot target knocked down. Robots must be completely within the launch zone to launch rings into the mid goal, high goal, or power shot targets. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver-controlled period. During the driver-controlled period, human players are expected to return rings to the playing field, as well as reset power shot targets. Each ring launched or placed into the low goal earns 2 points. A ring launched into the mid goal earns 4 points. However, Rings launched into the opposing alliance's goal earn points for their alliance. A ring launched into the high goal earns 6 points. The last 30 seconds of the driver-controlled period is the endgame. During this time, robots may continue scoring rings, but there are also ways to earn bonus points. Each knocked down power shot target earns 15 points. Returning a wobble goal to the start line earns 5 points. Each ring fully supported by the wobble goal earns 5 points. If a robot lifts a wobble goal over the front wall into the drop zone, its alliance earns 20 points. There are many ways to score in Ultimate Goal, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will deduct points from your alliance. For example, a robot may not block another for an extended period. A robot may not possess more than 3 rings at a time. A robot may not launch rings over the side or front perimeter walls. A robot may not intentionally tip another robot at any time. This has been a brief summary of the Ultimate Goal game. For complete rules, please read the entire game manual and check the Q&A forum. For more information on our remote season, including gameplay and field requirements, please make sure to visit our game and season webpage for the full library of remote event documentation. And always remember the most important rule of First Tech Challenge: gracious professionalism. Good luck, teams, and have a great season.
I just realized I was muted. My bad. So here's the video. I'm just going to copy and paste this. And here we go. With that being said, I want to personally thank you guys for watching. If you will stick around to the end, I'm just gonna find here. This is me, right here. Pretend I'm talking to you. Wait, there we go. Pretend I'm talking to you. So, yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video and sticking around to the end. And I hope you have a fun year, whether it's this year, another year, or if you're actually just a past member watching this. I hope you had a fun year when you were here. And all the other teams out there, I wish them a good competition and make sure they all stay safe. And besides that, don't forget our motto: Epsilon Delta, or small change, or from small changes come big differences.